We're going to do arrays now. An array is a special type of variable that can hold more than one value. So up until now, our variables have been something like, let my variable equal 50, or my name equals Lorik. But an array is a way of holding more than one. So if you think of a variable as being a container, then an array is like having lots of containers, like drawers or something like that. So if we say my array equals that, this is how we create one. Square brackets. And how it would look if we want to add our different variables, you would say let my array equal 12, comma, 50, comma, 5, comma, 1000. So this is setting up an array that holds 4 different values, and then the way we would access those, you've already declared the variable, so you can now just use it. You don't need to declare it again. You would open up the square brackets and put a number in here. So this might be confusing to some people, but in code, generally indices, sorry, begin at 0. So this is index 0, this is index 1, 2, and 3. An index is essentially just a pointer that says, where am I? So if you put 0 in here, this will return 12. If you say my array 3, it would be 0, 1, 2, 3. You would get 1000 back. So let's just test this out, just to show you that it works. So we can do alert, just the way we've done before. So this should add to a little box 12 and then 1000. 12, 1000. Arrays don't just in JavaScript, arrays can be quite flexible. I believe you can add all different data types in here. So you can say 12, false. You can say Lorik, 10.50. And then let's make that 2. And we'll just go again, see what happens. 12 and Lorik. Just keep in mind that some programming languages, they don't like this. They don't like an array having lots of different types inside of it. Doesn't matter so much if you're only working with JavaScript, but keep that in mind for the future, that may be something you may notice. Okay, so that is the start of arrays. How do you add a value to an array after it has been declared? Well, there are a couple of different methods that are really handy that I don't know if we should be going into it right now, but maybe the most important one would be push. So this notation is taking your variable, and then this is essentially running a method on this variable. So what push does is just says, add something to the end. So at the moment we have 0, 1, 2, and 3. But if we say myArray.push 55, we can then alert out myArray, and then that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because we've added something to the end. So let's just make sure that's what we'd expect to happen. 12, Lorik, and then 55, the thing we've just added to the array. Oh, Um, so should we go into some of the other stuff? You can also reassign. You can reassign a value by saying, say we don't like that 12 anymore. We'll grab the 0 index, which is the first one, and then make that equal to 100. And then we'll alert out 0. So what we're saying is we don't want this to be 12 anymore, make that 100. So it's 12, Lorik, 55, and then 100. So you can see in our code, we began by saying alert out that, which was 12, and then we said alert that same one out, that same box, that same container, alert that out, but it was a different value that time. Okay, so I think that's good enough for a quick peek at what arrays are. You also be aware there are ways of um, removing based on the start and the end. There are ways of adding to the start and the end. So push adds at the end. There's another one like this that adds it to the front, and then yeah, you get ones that remove from front and back as well. So I'm sure we'll be using all of those at some point. But push is probably the most used one or the most common one that I've been interested in. So here's an example of why this might be used in an actual game context so that it maybe makes a bit more sense. You maybe have an empty array called items, and then you run some code, you gain an item called potion. So then you would say items.push potion. So now items looks a bit more like that. Just keep in mind, this isn't syntax, this is just me showing you. So items now looks like this. So we pick up another item called elixir or elixir. And then now items looks like this. So that's the handy method called push, and we are pushing the item into the array. So this can just keep growing, and then say you wanted to display these items on the screen. Later on, we'll show you a way to loop through an array and grab each thing and then do something with it. So that'll be what's coming soon. Maybe not like the next video, but yeah. If you wanted to just grab the first item, you could say items 0, what is that? And then it will return potion. And then you can say items 1, it will return the elixir. So yeah, that's enough of this for now. There's so much you can do with arrays, and we will get to it. So thanks for watching, and I'll get cracking on the next video.